Hello YouTube, welcome back to Baldman Building an Airplane. This is section 34. This is the flap torque tube installation. This is the entire section of plans in a single video. So yeah, we use a little jig here to position the torque tubes appropriately, drill out the bell crank that attaches to the flap motor, and in a certain orientation up against the table so that it's flat, blah, blah, blah. And we put it all together. So, yeah. Some information. So, this video is getting released on the 15th of July, one in the week before Oshkosh. So, Oshkosh is the 21st through the 27th. I will be there all week, and that means that no videos next week, but I will have one on the 15th and the 18th. Yeah. So we'll get started on the friends helping on section 35 in a few minutes, or I'm sorry, on Friday morning's video, but for today, that's that. I would also like to say, I never really thought that this channel would get here, but it's almost 800 subscribers, which is absolutely silly, that to me anyway. I mean, I appreciate people subscribing, but 800 people have subscribed to this channel, and looking at me building airplane parts. Looking at me making mistakes building airplane parts. Thankfully there were no mistakes in in this setup. All right, so here's the drilling, and this is where I was talking about where oh no, the other side is where the weld is. Okay. So there's a weld that is on the bell crank, and they have you position it so that is on the table for a certain angle. Or maybe I'm thinking of I'm thinking of the aileron push rods, or bell cranks. It's different than this. This one was straightforward because I have you put the flat part, the flange down, and put it in the jig. So the jig is really handy for making that happen. But once you get the first holes drilled and clecoed, you don't need the jig anymore for the second ones. The measurement was a little bit weird. I remember that being a little tricky because, like, you're trying to measure from one point in the on the arm to a point elsewhere on the arm, or I'm sorry, down toward the bell crank, and you've got this big jig in the way, but it's got to be there so that you can, like, figure out where the line needs to be. I guess you could write the line on beforehand, but why would you make it easy on yourself? So yeah, that's really it. Put some AN3 bolts in there, put it together, you're good to go. Right, back to Oshkosh. So I'll be there all week. I'm also volunteering at the Sheet Metal Basics workshop. So if you've never done sheet metal work and you're interested and you're like, oh man, building an airplane's tough, I would highly recommend doing this workshop. I volunteered at the workshop a couple of times last year, and that was a lot of fun to volunteer. And it was really cool to see people doing this little project that we do, and learning that it's actually not all that difficult to do this sheet metal work for this airplane. Now, some of the system stuff does get a little complicated, but in general, the metalwork stuff, it's easy, and with a little guidance, anybody can do it. All right, so here we are installing the torque tubes, and we are uninstalling the flat motor. Oh, I think I just had it hanging there. I must have had it just hanging there. All right, yeah, so you just lubricate the torque tubes where they're going to meet up through those UMHW bushings, push them in place, and put them into the bell crank. You're good to go. Yeah, that's that. The motor that you see there is the PH Aviation flap motor. Um, Vans sells a motor that looks almost exactly like it. I don't know if they're using the same supplier, if they've, maybe talked to PH and asked that person, the person that runs that shop, um, to be the supplier for these things. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. But basically, this thing has internal limit switches, um, internal um, position sensor, so that way it does not unscrew itself. It doesn't need the safety wire that's called out in the plans. Um, there's a lot of little advantages to doing it to using this motor. I'm very happy with the purchase of this. I think I got it from PH directly at like 275 or 295 or something like that. And the Vans one at the time, the stock one, not even the upgraded one, was like 250. The upgraded one through Vans is like 350 or $400. So definitely take a look at this. Instead of installing the stock one and then installing an external sensor and a lot of extra stuff that you have to do. So yeah, this is it. Put it on the rotisserie, turn it to the side so gravity helps you put some bushings and washers in there. Hook it up. You're good to go until it's time to wire. I believe I did test it with a 9-volt battery or something just briefly, but that's not in this video. All right, so in the next video, we'll have some friends over to begin work on section 35. Thanks for stopping by.